Good day, everyone. Today on the bench I'm going to tie up a very good dry fly here. It's very well known, the Parachute Adams. If you were to ask a lot of good dry fly anglers out there what their favorite pattern is, I'm sure this one would be on the short list for everyone. It's a very generic fly that works well. The parachute style sits in the water, really nice. So let's go over the materials we need to tie the fly. I'm going to use a size 14 down high hook, a standard dry fly. I'm going to use some fine and dry hare's ear dubbing for the body. The tail, we're going to use some Coq Leon hackle here. It's nice shiny speckled tailing material. And the hackle for the parachute, I'm going to use some Cree dry fly saddle. If you don't have Cree, you can use brown and grizzly mixed. And we're going to use some extra fine wire for ribbing. I just like to give a little segmentation. And for the post, we're going to use some Rainey's parachute posts. So let's get a hook in the vise and tie one of these nice little Parachute Adams. You hear so many times, this is the one you got to have, that's the only fly you need, and so forth. We make all these claims on every fly we seem to get pretty excited about. But this one definitely fits the bill when it comes to that comment. It really has been around a long time. The Adams is one of the, I used to tie it with hen hackle tips, right, with the divided tips, but now the parachute styles are really nice. They sit in the water really well. So. Okay, dresser hook shank with her thread. We're going to use an 8/0 tan thread. You can use gray if you like. I'm going to cover it anyway, so I'm going to come in here, grab a feather off our saddle of our Coq Leon. I'm going to cut the bottom off. I don't want any of that there. We're going to grab these tips, make sure they're straight, and a few more there. There we go. That's what I want. I put a little more on than maybe you might need, but it gives them a little more flotation, a little extra flotation, and that's what I want in a dry fly. I want it to. I'm going to come in behind and set it up. Might be a little bit long. I can just sneak that back a little bit. There we go. I want it to shank length. Alright, so it's pretty nice. Cut off the butts right there, and we'll bring in our foam parachute posts. Going to be about a third back from the front, behind the eye. That's where I tie in the post. About the right balance. And when you're tying dry flies, you want to make sure they're balanced, they land right, swim right. Fish get a little fussy when they're looking up, or they can. Some days anything will work, and next day you wonder what they want. Coming here with my extra fine wire. That works for dry flies. That doesn't sink. There's no weight at all added with this. Nice little segmentation. So we'll just put that in there. Then I'll get my fine and dry hare's ear dubbing. This is very good for dry flies, of course. It's kind of watershed treated and super fine. Make sure you use the right material, especially when you're doing dry flies. You don't want to be substituting it for rabbit or whatever and then wondering why your fly won't float. So, a bag of dubbing will last you a long time. Okay, I'm just going to get that started right there. To the back. Basically, it's going to be pretty thin and thinner out at the back. Then we're going to start getting a bit of a taper up here. You see this is kind of got two tones. There's some darker and lighter shades in the dubbing. That's good. That's really good. Insects really aren't that little speckled colors and That's more of what nature will throw at you there. That looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to rib the body, get a few turns on here, and tie my wire off at my thread post. Must have been a piece of that hackle on my bench I picked up, where that tailing material is what it was. Okay, so that's with the body. Got a nice taper, segmentation there. I like that. Bring my dry fly hackle in here. Tie that on good side up. And I'm just going to wrap that on just right on top of the shank. Right behind the post. See how it slipped off the stem? That'll happen. So what you want to do, a little way to stop that, just take a little snippet along your stem, and then that gives you really nice. Now it's not so smooth, it'll be secure, it won't come out. A little trick there you may know or may not. I just thought I'd share that with you. And we'll just add a little more dubbing here to finish the thorax or the front of the body off. And right at the front, get my hackle back here. There we go. And I take my thread right to the top, just leave it in there. Might have a straggler there. Parachute flies can be a little tough to finish because you whip finish them and so forth, so you got lots of thread going on. Here's a little shortcut that I do. It's durable, really works well. I use Solar Res, and I used to use, and I still can use, Wapsi Fly Tires Cement. That I'll put on my thread and just take a turn or two in there, and it'll just coat all the that, and it dries very quickly. I'm going to use today. I'm just going to use some Solar Res, the same we use with our chronomids and many other patterns for doing eyes and chronomids, and got a lot of uses. Just going to coat that post a little bit with Solar Res. Just get her wet. There, that'll stay wet until I hit it with UV light. So I'm just going to start winding my hackle on. There we go. I'm happy with that. Grab my UV light and hit her on both sides. Make sure you get the UV light around. And there it is. It's solid. Done. That's about as easy as it gets right there. You can just saw your thread off. The hackle. Take my tips in there just so I don't trim anything else out of the way. Trim my post off. It's a simple parachute. Works pretty good, don't it? And it's a little segmentation there of the wire. I like that. The body's got light gray, dark gray. So that worked quite well. So very nice little dry fly for you. You can do them in different sizes, 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s if you can do it. And you're gonna cover a lot of water, and a lot of good fish have come to the net with this fly right here. So all the best to you. Hope to see you on the water, and we'll catch you next time on Sport Fishing on the Fly on the bench. So thanks for watching.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one showing, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.